Yo, 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 yo. Welcome back to another episode of the 8 Morning 92 podcast where we always keep it 100. You heard none of them sound effects, did you?
Nah. Hey, y'all niggas I was gonna keep it street.
Oh, then how you coming, Glock?
Pause.
Okay.
It's the 8 Morning 92 podcast. You know how we do. We always keep it 100.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the 8 Morning 92 podcast where we always keep it 100. We're your hosts, Harrison,
Najee,
Mitch.
and today is a very, very special interview because we have one of the first people to listen to our mixtapes on the stage of a comedy show, the one and only, the successful failure himself, Mr. Kev on stage. Yes, how are you doing, Mr. Kev on stage?
What up, twin? Hey, y'all, time out.
What up? Yeah, we had to give you the URL smack DVD, so if you're gonna sit to that fire out here, we got to give it to you. So if you want to drop some, gang. How you doing, Mr. Kev on stage? Welcome back.
Thank y'all for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And I tell everybody this all the time. If you want to, get your idols or you get people to look at you and give you a shot, you don't go there and do what they expect, which is to praise. You go out there and you go look them straight in the eye and you don't laugh at them. Can't remember. I sat there. I don't know if it was nerves. I don't know if I was trying to process.
Was it Virginia Beach?
Yeah, it was Virginia Beach.
Yeah, man. I'll never forgive you.
And I don't know if you don't understand. We can go ahead and clear this. I had that speech ready for after that show so much that I heard that joke and I was ha ha. But this is what you don't understand, Kev. You don't want to over laugh at the joke, because when that picture come afterwards, you gonna be, it wasn't that funny. So I didn't want to ha ha hey he. You don't want to be like Martin at the at the Darnell Hill show and then be falling all over, and then afterwards you only 15 minutes. So I didn't realize that one, you saw me, and then two, I didn't realize that my face was that straight.
Oh yeah, man, bro. The comedians always see who ain't laughing. We take a mental picture of you and throw darts at it after the show.
Yeah. But I also realized from reading the book why I stood out so much to you. So it was destined. I also realized how quickly you went through those pictures. That if I smiled or laughed, that I would have got a picture and goodbye. So without that, I appreciate that you listened to our show, and we are here today for the second time to interview you for Successful Failure. So how has everything been with you on your second book for Successful Failure that comes out September 23rd?
It's been good, man. It's a lot of work. I've been promoting it. I feel like more than I did the first book with less success, but I think I was talking to my homegirl about this. I think right now, if I'm being honest, I'm a victim of my own success right now because the book has been set to come out this time for a long time. And at the time, I had nothing else going on at this time. So all promo was going to be on this. But by the grace of God, I got the Churchy got picked up, and that was moved from like a July, supposed to be like around the BT Awards, late June, early July release to a September or August release. The Hospital got picked up, which wasn't a thought when I was, got the opportunity to do the book. And that came out around the time. And then the Ball Brothers tour, I was supposed to go on a stand-up tour for the book, but in the meantime, the Ball Brothers became a thing. So I think promoting four things at once made it harder to do any one thing. But it also brought me to you guys again. So, you know what I'm saying? I can't really complain, bro. At the end of the day, I used to sit in a cubicle and hate every second of every minute of every day at work. So I'm just telling you how I feel, honestly. But, brother, this ain't really no problem. I could still be having to be at my desk at 5 a.m.
Yeah, so from Boeing to Bank of America, we noticed that a desk was not for you.
No, this desk is for me though, but those desks were not for me.
I wanted to
even being a credit card plug.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you, would you consider this book a self-help book or would you consider this an autobiography? So I wanted to ask you that. What would you classify this really as?
Honestly, it's kind of both. But if I had to lean more, it's definitely supposed to be like a comedic memoir. I just share so many of my failures in business. It ends up probably teetering heavily into the self-help. First of all, let me tell y'all these little banners. I see it kept on stage 100 and origins and motivation and all that and successful failure. Y'all better have y'all little cards ready to go.
Hey, we done been some time. We done stepped away.
Hey, man, y'all use StreamYard to use all the features they got on here, bro. Y'all ain't just clicking and clacking. Y'all got the background going.
Got a
soundboard
too. We done made some upgrades too.
I love this, man. Y'all showing me stuff I didn't even know was capable. StreamYard was capable of it. But yeah, I think it's a comedic memoir that will help you.
Got you. So I wanted to ask you for your motivation. What was the moment that you knew you were it? Like, what was your it factor that you knew I'm going to make this work?
Oh, that's a good question. I feel like I'm kind of always doing that. Maybe. Wow, that's a good question. I've never been asked that. Let me think about my origins and my motivation. So I think I did that at every step, if that makes sense. So when I was working at Boeing and I kind of first started on my YouTube journey, I was like, I'm going to make this work on the weekends and before work and after work, right? I'm going to find a way to make this work then. And then when it was time to move to LA and I didn't really know, how we were going to do it financially. I was like, if I get X amount of dollars for my 401k and we get to a bonus, I'm going to make this move work. Me and Melissa going to work this part out. And then it was like, when I got a job in Los Angeles, it seemed like the best thing for my family. I'm like, I'm going to make this work. I'm going to learn more about digital media and all that type of stuff. So I feel like I said, I'm going to make this job work, which it did. And then, to the app and to Churchy and to promoting the book. And like, I think that's kind of always my disposition is finding a way to make things work. And it doesn't always work. I ain't gonna hold you. I want this book to be a New York Times bestseller. It might not be. I have to accept that as a reality. That's not a reality that I want, but it's an opportunity. It's an option. So, but I think to answer your question in a shorter way is I'm always thinking I'm going to make this work. I think the first time I thought, oh, this is working is when I was doing my first tour with Tony and Tahir. And I remember we went on tour, I believe in January. And I believe by March, I had enough in my PayPal that I was like, okay, if I don't sell another ticket, I have enough money to pay Tony and Tahir's flights and hotels and pay them for the rest of the tour. And at that point, I thought this is going to be lucrative enough because you got to remember that first year, I didn't know. I first of all, I still worked a full-time job and I was using my savings. I wasn't sure the tour was going to work. I planned it all and did all that, but there was no guarantee that people were going to buy enough tickets to make it profitable. So that was the moment that I thought, oh, this is going to work. This is going to make sense. And I probably, if I can keep doing this, I'll be able to change my life and my family's life.
And you're talking about the Real Comedians of Social Media tour, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know if you meant the tour that you went on before you broke off from the Churchy tour. I didn't know if you were talking about that.
Yeah, that was the Real Comedians. That was the first tour I did after I broke off from the Like, Share, Tag tour.
Got you. Okay. And so I wanted to know, one thing I've noticed with you being heavily in faith, comedy and entertainment can sometimes clash with your personal faith and also your vows. I want to know was it with you being in LA, especially, how was it that you stayed true to yourself while working in an industry that can push you to do the opposite in order to succeed?
One of my homeboys, Nate Jackson, said this before I moved to LA. He was also from where I'm from and where I was living in Washington. And before I moved, he was like, you need to decide what you want out of this industry because it will give you whatever you want. If you want power, it'll give you power. If you want women, it'll give you women. If you want money, it'll give you money. If you want drugs, it'll give you drugs. And what I want is to take care of my family and for my family to be together 20 years from now. So I think something that helped me stay true to myself is like being a church kid all my life. There was always things that my classmates or friends were doing that I wasn't doing. There was always somebody smoking, or I mean, I had sex before marriage, so I guess we was all doing that. Actually, I had sex before marriage before most of my friends did. So who's the sinner now? So, but you know, I wasn't cussing. I wasn't cussing. I didn't listen to music. I didn't buy music that had cussing in it. I just felt like that wasn't saved. But I guess I had some experience doing my own thing. But honestly, man, I didn't really get, I can't think of too many, if any, situations or opportunities where somebody was like, hey, Kev, we're finna do something nefarious. Come on with us, and we're gonna do some drugs. We're gonna go cheat on our wives. I think like I give off a vibe like Kev probably ain't down with that. So those opportunities aren't really presented to me. I remember when I found out people were doing cocaine at All Deaf at work, and I was like, where do y'all buy cocaine? This is crazy, man. I grew up thinking weed was like, I didn't even know how people got weed. And stop putting me on the screen by myself, man. I'm lonely out here.
I did want to ask you, in a smaller sense, without you having to do that Cat Williams line party with Professor Ogilvy, when you had to turn down like deals from the Razor Company, and I want to say it was like the NFL for like necessarily lying, would those kind of be other examples of kind of like not going against your personal values to kind of cash a check per se? Would that kind of fall in line as well?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, I remember my son was very young, and I got a brand deal with Jack in the Box. He was like, at that time, if you got a brand deal on your YouTube, you were considered selling out because it was mostly kids who didn't have no bills. And I was like, little nigga, do you want lunch or not? Like, bruh, what you think bro, I'm selling these jokes. So to me, selling out would be taking money for something I know I don't believe in or agree with and acting like I did. So to your point, there's a story in the book about this razor company who was developing this razor technology that was supposed to allow black men to shave their face and not get razor bumps. And at this time, I didn't have a beard. I used to just have the little Scruffy McScrufferson and the little mustache. Yeah, I had that for a minute. I just had the ducktail situation. So, and it was a good amount of bread. And I believed them. I was like, oh, bet. Shaved my face with the razor, made my little video. And they were like, great. And then like 3 days later, I was Bumpy Johnson. I was a Nestle Crunch Bar. And they were like, I mean, in the video, your face is fine. So if you're cool with it, like, we ain't gonna tell nobody if you don't tell nobody. But like, say any of y'all listen to my advice and then got razor bumps and you ran into me in the streets and you was like, Kev, come on, bro. Like,
we were mad at you, not the company.
Hey, look, I need
exactly. And you're not gonna trust me.
My beard could grow in all the way.
Exactly. I had to tell them, like, bro, I can't. First of all, I hate razor bumps, so I can't knowingly give a black man razor bumps because they trust me. Like, you trusted me is more valuable than the amount of cash y'all are gonna give me. And it was a considerable amount of money. Like, don't trip. And the same thing with the NFL. At that time, this is prior to them settling with Kaepernick, and I was still like, I'm beefing with the NFL. I'm not watching no games. And they sent me an offer, and I was like, so Kaepernick, he, maybe he just needs to pick up his bootstraps and find another job. Like, I toyed with it, but I was like, bro, I can't. My spirit wouldn't be settled if I took that.
So I would.
Huh? Are you still not watching? I wanted to ask, are you still not watching NFL?
Oh no, I'm back now. Once Kaepernick settled, I felt like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I think he got Titans, like 80 million.
Yeah, the Titans were trashed at that time, so he had my full support.
It didn't cost you nothing to boycott.
It didn't cost me nothing. He was number one pick. So I said, you know what? Turn it off. Turn them all off. So he had my support.
So I did want to add something, just kind of in the spirit of that conversation. Like one of the things that I did love about this book is the part that you really did never sell out. Like your moral values and everything you talk about. Because you always talk about, like, people always call you churchy, they, all those things, but like you really never sold out for money. And so I wanted to ask, like, who instilled those values in you? Like, did it come from church? Did it come from your mom? Did it come just making your family proud? Like, who instilled that in you? Because most people will sell out.
Yeah, I think a combination of family values, church, and like, bro, when I worked at the bank, right, there was a time when before the housing market crashed, that you could manipulate some people's stuff and you could get paid, but it was going to be at these people's expense. But the bank was kind of like looking the other way. It wasn't technically illegal. It just wasn't right. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
you could get away with some stuff that wasn't legal, but you could put, you know what I'm saying? It could hurt people, right? It could put them in a situation where you trick them. And I remember thinking, like, bruh, I want to be able to walk around this. I live in this city, so I don't want to be at the fair and somebody see me and come up behind me with a brick and smack me in the back of the head because I done beat them out of
Somebody
the
come
second
with you.
mortgage.
Somebody
So I'm
come with you
like,
with a whole bunch of razor bumps.
exactly,
Man.
right? It's like, bro, money. And honestly, if I'm being honest, I think growing up poor but not having a bad life helped me, because my family wasn't like, we ain't got no food, it's sad and sad. Like, bro, we was
Yeah.
playing Uno, we had cap guns, me and my brother played with the vacuum attachments. Like, we had a good life. So I didn't need money to enjoy life. You know what I'm saying? We went to the park, we played one-on-one football in the front yard. Like, we did all this fun stuff. So I didn't feel like, money at the expense of my peace was worth it, or at the expense of my
Do,
character was worth it.
Yeah.
do you ever feel like some of those deals, or any of those deals, like NFL, do you ever look back and be like, damn, you see the person that actually did do the deal, like somebody might have did the deal, and you're like,
That
damn,
happened with
I
the
should have
NFL
went on
deal.
and did
Somebody I know did it, and they didn't know it was offered to me first, and they offered them more, because I guess they had a hard time getting people. So they was like, bro, I did the NFL, man. They hit me with the whoop de wop, and I was like, oh my.
Any
But
deals you
like,
feel like you wish you would have did?
nah, bro, I'm telling you, I value being able to sleep at night peacefully more than that. Like, I go to bed, bro, I sleep. I don't got nobody's looking for me. You can't have nobody that says I did them wrong where I also agree I did them wrong and I know it. Now, somebody out there like, this nigga kid did me wrong. A lot of niggas probably feel like that. But I'm talking about everything I have done. I have tried to be honest and fair. Somebody's still probably not going to feel that way. But some people know they cheating and lying and stealing and still sleep well at night. Or maybe they don't. But to me, it ain't worth that, bro. It's a long life. It's a long life. And I'd rather live a life that I can be proud of than to have money. And I feel like I don't feel good about myself and my spirit ain't settled. That's just wrong to me. Even though I gotta take some L's and eat some crap to
Yes.
sit on that.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I feel like in the long run, even if I get, and I'm not even like things are gonna come back to me. Sometimes you take that L and you don't recover. That person just beat you out of that deal and then they are out of your life or whatever. But I feel like, to me, it's more important that I could live with myself. And honestly, bro, sometimes people feel like I am not doing the right thing according to them and how they think I should live my life.
Yeah.
That doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to know my path, and you don't have to agree with my path or my version of life or my relationship with God. That's not my problem. I gotta have it in my own stomach that I'm cool with the decisions I make. So as long as I can be proud, my
family,
wife,
my wife,
yeah, I'm not embarrassing my
me,
kids and stuff. Then you know what I'm saying. I'm okay with it.
I wanted to ask you. So, Zay was your first viral moment. One of your first viral moments. He ended up getting the role in the reboot or the sequel of Little Rascals. And so, when he started to blow up, you were right there supporting him. I wanted to ask you, because we've seen it so many times, people live in their lives, whether it be sports, anything, through their kids. You wanted to make it big in Hollywood. I wanted to ask you, how did you resist the urge to step in front of the cameras and say, "Hey, I'm an actor, comedian too"?
Bruh, let me tell you what. I always make this joke that I played JV all 4 years. The truth is, it was 3 years, but it's funnier to say 4. And playing sports, I was a solid hooper, but I never was the guy. I'm never like that nigga getting 30. Can I say nigga? I've said it a few times. Want to make sure I'm good. All right. I never was the guy that's 30 and 10, 30 and 15. Like, bro, I got my rebounds, my assists. I had one game where I scored 26 points, but that was literally one occurrence. I'm
Jamal Crawford.
Yeah, 10 and 10, 3 and 2 guy. And 10 is like not that often. More like a 4, 3 and 1.
I don't think people realize that you actually tall. People don't realize that you're
Nobody.
tall.
They always think I'm
No.
They think I'm small. Me and my wife were talking about that. She was like, I think it's because your torso tall, like your legs ain't really long.
I told you that when I first met you. I was like, you taller than I thought you were.
Yeah, because I got a lot of torso. That's why my butt crack be showing. But when I was my son's manager, I didn't take none of his spotlight because I never felt like that was my time. Like I felt like he is rocking, bro. I'm here to support you. If you become Beyonce, I'll be Matthew Knowles or whatever. But I never was like, hey, y'all, let me get in the video. Like, and his first video was Spoken Reasons. I didn't say nothing. They asked me, hey, do you want to play the dad in this? And I was like, sure. I'm not going to turn it down. But I wasn't like, hey, y'all, I'm available. Like, I just felt like his path was his path. And if it was my place to support him, then I'll support him. And I always knew my turn would come. And I also always had my own thing going. So even though he was, both my sons were killing at one time, all their videos were going viral. At one time, Zay and Jojo were the most viral out of us, and then the Playmakers, and then Kev on Stage. When I was building that didn't get no numbers. But I always had my own thing going, and that was good enough for me. Like I didn't have to steal from my son or take his spotlight and make it my own. And it also allowed me not to, when him and my youngest son, they were kind of done with it. I didn't have to push them to be in it just so I could get my taste. I was like, it's more important to me that we have a good relationship throughout their whole life. And they would remember if I was trying to steal their spotlight or force them to do something that they didn't want to do no more, they gonna remember that. And I don't want them to be 25 years old, like, smoking a cigarette, like my father made me be in the business. I didn't want to be in the business. Like, I didn't want that, bro. Like, I always told them, if you want to come back to this, it'll always be here. But if you don't want to do it, bro, don't do it. Because in acting, your face can't be torn up while we're rolling. You can play sports with an attitude. You can hoop with an attitude. You can't act with an attitude. So if you don't want to do it, let's just go home.
So, like even the theme of this book, it seemed like it was like your upscale in life. Like even with your kids and them shining, it still seemed like everybody was kind of going off your dreams in life, and it just kind of built off everybody. Like, did you ever feel like maybe like what is your wife? What was her dream? Because she always seemed like she had a great job. She got the job before you got it. Like she succeeded. But do you feel like everybody kind of got in the limelight just because you were there? Like they didn't get to do their dreams. It was all about your dreams.
So that's a great question. You're absolutely right. This was not my wife's dream. She would have climbed the corporate ladder, and in some ways, she has to navigate that, right? Because this life where you got to get up. For example, think about what video you're going to make today, how you're going to motivate yourself, all that type of stuff. Everybody's not built like that. Some people didn't mind going to, and listen, there's still certain parts of a 9-to-5 that I miss, but my wife was cool doing her own thing. My kids, they enjoyed making videos because they saw me do it. But when they got into the industry for real, the industry showed them the work aspect of it will take the fun part out, right? Because when we just making videos at home, that would take them 5, 10, maybe 15 minutes. When you shooting a sketch in LA with a company that's paid for that, bro, you shooting that all day. All of a sudden, it ain't that fun no more. It's not as fun as when Daddy was doing it. That clip of Denzel, like, it's not fun no more, is it? Huh? It's not. That's how it felt to them.
Fun, sir.
Yeah, exactly. So my wife, it's kind of a catch-22 because going along the ride for my dream has opened our lives up to so many things. But now she's also got to figure out, well, what do I want to do?
Yeah.
Like what you know, it doesn't make sense. She doesn't have a need to go work a regular job, but there is a sense of purpose and stability. She had her own thing going. She had her own work friends. She had her own things that she was good at. So now that's taken away, you know what I'm saying? In a sense, taken away. So that I will say there's an adjustment period with that, because she didn't see her life going this way. Because y'all got to remember, we was both working at Boeing. We had our kids in private school. This, for all of our friends, that was it. Like, you just, you know, we come from military parents. Our parents both, pretty much everybody around us, you do 20 years in the Army. Then if you don't get disability, you do another 15, 20 in some other government job. You know, a lot of people are retiring at 60 with 2 government pensions. That was the path for us. So us getting a job at Boeing, we getting good pay without the, you know, being in harm's way of being in the military. So she's thinking, we're just going to keep going. We're going to keep getting raises, going higher, get a bigger house, raise the kids, whatever. Now, all of a sudden, we are moving to LA. We don't have those jobs. We're taking the kids to auditions. This is not the life she signed up for. And you got to remember, too, it took a minute for it to turn around. Like, we moved to LA when we were both 29. And let's see, I went on tour in 2018. So it was like 6-7 years before it even started to be like I became the Kev on stage that, you know, I thought I could become. So there was definitely some adjustment period for her. The boys, they kind of found their place. Like, once they stopped doing videos like that, they were just going to school. My older son got into robotics and film and anime and stuff. My youngest son got into sports, and they, for the most part, the majority of their life has been a regular child's life. They just make videos with us sometimes, but their life's not that unusual or different than most of the kids in their school or their friend group.
Because it seemed like y'all always at least had the stability. Y'all always had the Boeing. Y'all always had something else going on. So it didn't really seem like that ever over conquered my dream. You know, like, you always went for your dream. So I think that was kind of the
Even when I
thing
worked
that,
at Boeing or before, I always was doing something on my own to chase my dream. It just was.
because Boeing would have been good. Y'all
Boeing would
could
have been
like
great.
you said. Yeah.
But I still would have been making YouTube videos on the side. I needed, like, that. Boeing was good for the fatherhood, husband, provider part of me. But for the creative part of me that is necessary to survive, I always have to have a side hustle that I'm doing or working on. Otherwise, I needed something to look forward to. It just couldn't be that job every day. Like, I need to be able to look forward to making a video on my break or when I get home or having a comedy show that Thursday. That was the kind of thing that kept me going when I hated my job, which was pretty much every day, all day.
So with them, so with the whole family, like your wife, your kids, your parents, and everybody supporting you the way they did for as long as they have, how do you now support them, like you touched on earlier, with, you know, your wife trying to figure out what she wants to do now, your kids trying to figure their way through the industry and everything? How do you turn all of that love and support into support for them?
My youngest son, simple as both my kids, being an active part of their life and whatever they're interested in. Like, sometimes that looks like, what anime are y'all watching? I'm gonna watch that so we can talk about it. My youngest son, when this podcast, the reason we gotta be done with this is because I gotta get ready to take him to soccer practice. So he'd be practicing for 2 hours. I'd be there as a father complaining about the coach holding them over. My wife, it looks like, you know, she just started working out and stuff. I've been working out for a minute. The results, they're coming in slowly. But she was like, hey, can you take, you know, JoJo to school on Tuesdays and Thursdays so I can work out my trainer? Oh, yes, I can support you in that way. There was a time where she, you know, sometimes supporting her is recognizing her podcast is just as important to her as mine is to me. So in years past, I'd be like, yeah, man, you know what I'm saying? Push your podcast. And one day she sat me down and she was like, bro, you don't never push your podcast. Like, you do your stuff. Treat mine with the same respect as yours. And I'm like, you right. So it's giving her the same respect and honor that I would ask for. But I think, you know, in those ways, that's how support looks for them now. But that also can change. My oldest son is about to be, or I guess he's in his second year of college. So supporting him is looking like, hey, I'm gonna let you grow up. You won't have to be home at 9-10 p.m. like you were in high school. I trust you. You're in college. You can come and go as you please. Just text us when you get home. You know what I'm saying? Or he wants to change his major, and he sent his you had to send a letter to the school, so he sent it to me and his mom, or to like make sure it made sense and it was good. So supporting him was just like, yeah, I think you will be good at this, and change this word or that word, even though I didn't say anything. I was just like, this is good, fam. I ain't no grammar person, so yeah, Maryland, it looked good to me. So yeah, it just depends.
In another interview, you spoke about how good you are with marketing. So I wanted to see if you could tell us two of your marketing failures. That's only a decade, like if any. Give us your most recent and your earliest, and then also two of your examples of like marketing genius. Again,
Okay.
most recent and early.
Marketing failure. There's a book tour that I'm doing for this book, and it's not selling well. And I think the marketing failure is I overestimated how many things I can promote at one time. Like I was telling y'all, like I'm like, oh, I can come there. I ain't done a meet and greet. I'm gonna do that, and people gonna buy the tickets like crazy. And it's like, maybe they will, but will they if they already saw you earlier this year for the Backview tour, and you're coming back to the city for the Ball Brothers tour? Do I want to spend another $30, $50 to see you just to get a signed book and a picture? I greatly overestimated how many people would buy that. I thought, oh, I'll just throw that in Patreon. It'll sell out. I did not. It did not sell out. And I put it public. It didn't sell out. That's the most recent one. The Successful Failure book, lagging behind Marriage Be Hard, feels like a failure to me, because I'm like, oh, this is, I thought, in two ways, I thought the Marriage Be Hard would be easier because it was me and Melissa. She had her own fans. I had my own fans. But I thought it'd be harder because not everybody's in a couple or a relationship or looking for one. So I thought, oh, Successful Failure, man, it's just a comedy book. I'll have way more people buy it. I'm going to blow these numbers out the water. I'm not. I haven't.
And your
Still.
fan demographic is like that of your wife too. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah. And it was a cool cover. Like she came up with a great concept and all that type of stuff. Success. I think getting Keep Your Distance off the ground was a successful marketing thing, because you like that comedy hadn't been consumed that way prior. I don't remember anybody doing basically a pay-per-view thing. So part of it was like comedic to get people to watch, and the other part was like education. Like I had to educate people on how this is even going to work. And the other part was like, coming from a churchy audience, I had to let people know these people aren't going to be clean. Like these people are going to be cussing. So there was a little education part of that. So I think that was a massive failure. That did very well. And I think even getting a season 2 of Churchy, like Churchy being number 1 on BET Plus the first week after it had already aired on BET Plus, the fact that we were able to market it so well that it was number 1 with, we didn't have the same star power as like, say, a Tyler Perry show, because, Tyler Perry is Tyler Perry now.
Right.
So being able to be number 1 for even a week was massive to me.
I did have a question for you for Churchy. I'm sorry. I didn't mean that.
Yeah, it's all good.
What was the strategy that Miss Pat used different from yours? Because I know that y'all both had, both of y'all on the BT Plus format, but I noticed that when Miss Pat did it, it was a little bit different, just because I didn't know who Miss Pat was versus yours. Did she have was her strategy like a little bit different, because y'all both have a comedic background, but I feel like she was a little bit more underground to where I didn't know who she was. I saw the Miss Pat show, and then it made me kind of more like, who is Miss Pat versus I've been watching this all deaf. And so did it make Churchy more successful that way versus I feel like I watched Miss Pat and it made me more intrigued with who she was, or did your background kind of help Churchy more?
I think my background definitely helped Churchy. I knew Miss Pat as a comedian. I remember hearing her story for years before she got her show. So it's actually interesting that you found out about her from the show, which I'm sure a lot of people did. I know for sure a good amount of Churchy watchers are people who were already a fan of mine. But there are people, believe it or not, who are still finding out about me because of Churchy. They don't know what Churchy is. Like I read some of the comments on like BET Plus page, and they'll be like, "What movie is this?" And I'll be like, "Dang, there'd be people who don't have no idea what this is. Don't even know this is a TV show." So I didn't know how she marketed it outside of like the trailer and stuff. but I can say that it was probably very similar that she had her own audience because of her stand-up, that she was able to direct to Churchy same way I was able, direct to Miss Pat's show the same way I was able to direct people to Churchy.
You still kind of stay with who the core, who Kev is with Churchy, seeing that you could do so much on that platform versus
I think for me, Churchy is a great start to my TV career for real, because Corey Carr is a very close character to me. It will make my grandma mad if I did anything that she felt isn't reflective of a child of God. But I ain't gonna lie to you. As an actor, I would love to play a murderous villain. I want to be a bad guy. I'm always Kev. No, I want to stab. I want to kill. I want to sock somebody out and cuss.
Get you a spray haircut too.
Yes. Just keep watching my career. Eventually, I'm gonna get one of those roles where I play so against type that the church folks gonna be like, I always knew he didn't love the Lord, even though this is just my job.
Would you like to go the right gemstone route?
Not with Churchy.
Okay.
Them boys was wilding on that righteous gemstones. Like, I could never go that far. But on a different show, I wouldn't mind playing a totally different character. But Churchy is still gonna be reflective of the good parts of the church that I experienced. Some of the bad parts, but mostly good. I couldn't do right.
I can see being a little Eli Gemstone, you know.
Man, boy, them boys they be on borderline reprobated mind, man. I couldn't even do that stuff.
Okay, I got it.
The last question I just wanted to ask, just about money wise, like if you could go back and start from what you know now. You did a book, you did Churchy, you did social media, podcasting. Like, what do you feel like is the most lucrative, and what do you feel like, if you could just focus everything in the beginning, where should you start, like, for new people?
Well, that's hard to answer, because for me, I'm a stand-up comedian before I'm anything else. So I would love to do that, but like, as the pandemic showed, sometimes you can't do that because the earth is closed, and also that much travel is taxing on you. So like, touring, it's hard on your body, it's hard on your eating, rests away from your family. So I wouldn't want to just, if I were a single guy, it might be different. Travel will still be hard on my body, but I wouldn't have kids
like Chris Brown just out there.
Yeah, he just like, bro, I got to lay in my own bed sometimes. I got to hug my wife and talk to my kids. So I think in some ways I'm very grateful that I can veer between different subjects. I can take a break from stand-up and focus on podcasting or try and get a TV show developed. But also, no matter what, by the grace of God, and hopefully it continues this way, I can always go on the road and sell tickets, at least if it's only one time a year. And of all the things I do, nothing is like making somebody laugh in real life. That's still my favorite version of performing, is probably stand up first, and then like a play would be second, even though I ain't done a play in years. The live aspect of performing is my favorite thing to do. But one thing I'm glad I did early was diversify my income, and I still probably do a version of that always.
So moving into like something a little more personal. So like, after your brother died, do you feel like it was something that you needed to do for him, or he wanted you to accomplish, or do you ever feel like you kind of blamed yourself for anything towards him?
First of all, this personal loss and legacy card is cracking me up. He was like, hold on. He went to the brother thing. Let me get the personal loss and legacy up. Sometimes I don't feel like I'm doing it for him in the sense. I more feel like I was doing my own thing, but I feel like we was doing it together, and now we're not. That probably is a more accurate reflection of my feelings. Like, we were supposed to be making these shows together and these movies together. We were supposed to be on the road together. Like, he was on before he got sick. He was working on that tour with me, the Real Comedians tour. So there is sort of some like survivor's remorse, survivor's guilt situation. I don't blame myself for what happened to him, but I do feel like, man, it would have been doper if he was alive to see this. Or I still, when good things happen, I still have an urge to call him or text him. And for that first split second, you forget he's not here. And that's probably the hardest part of it, of the personal loss.
What was it? Was it anything that you felt like he always was like, man, you need to do this or you need to accomplish this? Something that you might have already accomplished, or something that you still have in the back of your mind, like, I want to do this because we always talked about this as a kid or as I started getting big, or
Not really, not a specific thing. You know, he left me a video before he passed, and he wasn't even sick when he sent it. He just wasn't able to make my NAACP party when I got nominated. My wife threw a party for me, and he left me this video where he was just like saying how proud of me he was and stuff like that. And when I go back and miss him, I go back and watch that video, and it feels like no matter what I accomplish, I can play that video and it'll feel like that makes sense. If I were to win an Oscar or get a blockbuster film or whatever, get a role with The Rock or Kevin Hart, he was at that age of his life, he had become a crybaby. He was big, proud, big tears, and crying every holiday season. So I think in some ways, anything I do feels like it makes him proud, really.
With losing him being such a heavy moment, how did that loss shape your perspective on comedy and the stories that you tell on stage?
I mean, shoot, one thing my brother taught me when my grandma died, the first funeral I went to, he was the one cracking jokes during the funeral on the mic, making everybody laugh. So I feel like, you know, his passing gave me some great material. I'm working on an hour that reflects that part of my life or this part of my life. So he gave me the greatest gift, which is material. And second of all, he helped me in some ways. I think he helped me appreciate life. Like I, you know, and then he just helped me with, like, I had a will, but I didn't have a trust before he passed. So working on that, I was like, man, I need to make this easier to take care of for my family. So in some ways, him passing even helped me be a better father, husband / provider. But it also left an enormous hole, you know, like he was him. And, you know, there's parts of his wife that are like him and his kids, but there's no one person that makes up him overall. So not having him is probably the hardest part of the whole thing.
As my last question for you, I wanted to ask you, the theme of the book was being successful. The theme of the book was making it and being it. We all, for relatively from the same era where we viewed a celebrity at the time. So being that we see what a celebrity is now versus what our definition of a celebrity was then, would you, knowing what you know now, would you still want to be a celebrity in this day and age now?
I don't want to be a celebrity. I don't even want to be famous. That is a byproduct of the goals that I choose, but fame and celebrity are not parts that I want. I would, but you know, it kind of doesn't make sense though, because you want to sell out arenas, and how you gonna do that without being famous or being a celebrity? You know what I'm saying? But some of the aspects of fame, you know, privacy, you know, when I was on the road out of town a week or two ago, I'm walking down the street with my headphones on, trying to get my little steps in, because you know I'm 270, and this lady grabbed my arm to stop me to take a picture, like grab me. And that first interaction, I'm not thinking I'm Kev on stage, let me respond. I'm like, oh snap. And she's like, oh, I'm sorry. But like that kind of stuff happens all the time. That wouldn't happen if I weren't famous. So I think there's good parts of it and there's bad parts of it. The good part is I'm able to take care of my family in a way that I wouldn't have in the life I was used to or used to live. And the bad part is your privacy's gone. In some ways, you know, you can't joke about stuff the way everybody else does because you're famous. You know, everybody expects you to be. In some ways, every person seems to want you to see the world the way they see it, or they think you should see it. So whatever they have a problem with, you should also have a problem with it, because they're a fan of you. They'd be like, well, how you like pumpkin pie and I don't? You know, that's a silly example. But when it comes to serious issues, why you ain't talking about this? Don't matter how many times you talk about it. If I didn't see it, it didn't happen. So, you know, and even simple stuff like eating at a restaurant and feeling people watch you. Like you can see people seeing you or recording you, or they come up to you while you're eating and be like, man, I don't want to bother you, brother. And I hate to bother you, but if I could just, I just want to get a picture of you real quick. All right, man. Don't want to bother you.
You got any other celebrity mentors that would tell you what to do or how to like go through this?
I don't remember who said it. He wasn't my personal celebrity mentor, but he said, if you don't want to be famous that day, then don't leave the house. The moment you leave the house, you're a celebrity. If you don't want to be bothered or you ain't got it, that's fine. Stay at home. Order room service. You know what I'm saying? So it comes with it. You know, I was just telling my wife, man, I want to be able to eat at any restaurant and not be bothered. That's just not the case for me. Like, it's just not. And the alternative of like going back to Boeing, it ain't worth it. I'll deal with this. I'll figure out a way because it do come with some perks. So I'll figure out a way to make it work.
Gotcha.
That lady that stopped you on the street. Hold on, that lady that stopped you on the street. Did you think that was Fat Tony grabbing your arm?
Fat Tony got to be in jail, man. He was headed down the wrong path. It couldn't be him. He got to be in jail.
You ain't trying to find him. You ain't trying to see where he is.
Oh my God, why? So he can beat me up again? He might be 6'8", 390 now. I hope he can't read. I hope he doesn't know.
I just feel like that story when Martin was not trying to see Mad Dog and it turned out to be Gary Coleman or something. Yeah, so
Mad Dog was little. Fat Tony was not.
We don't even know how tall Fat Tony is to this day. So now we sitting up there. You got somebody the size of Webster. We figure out he was beating you down all the time.
Nah, Fat Tony was big, man. If he's not big now, he had something happened with his growth hormone because he was huge when I was a kid.
And then the Asian kid was crazy.
Asian kid, I hope I don't never see him again either. He taught me my lesson. I learned it. I ain't got to run into him in the streets.
So we got successful fair by the New York bestselling author Kev on Stage. What are 3 takeaways and everybody know from this book that comes out September 23rd?
The book is funny. The book is going to teach you something, and the audiobook is read by me, so it's a great time. I'm a good storyteller.
Audio version.
Audio version.
That's how I listen to it.
Yeah, I did the audio version. That'll be out on the 23rd. I'm sorry if y'all didn't get the good version. Y'all got to get the audio version and listen to me tell the stories.
The older you get, I realize I don't like to read anymore because I got too much stuff going on. I'm an audio man, so I just read it in your voice the whole time, and I finished it at this point. So at this point, I just read it in hallelujah. So I did all that, but I couldn't just did that. But, you want to sign us off, or we get another drop?
Say it one more time.
You want to sign us off? Get us another Kev drop. We had one more surprise, but Banks didn't put it up in the background yet. But we had one more surprise. Show you how far we came in our technology.
Okay, show me.
Maybe we'll do it before it go. Banks, you got it.
There we go.
Make sure I get our successful failure by the one and only Kev on Stage. What he do is big successful failure. He learned every lesson flat on his face. Fat Tony, we don't want to see you unless you get in the book. All right. Successful failure by the one and only New York best-selling Kev on Stage, aka Kevin Frederick. And Kev, would you like to do us the honors? First off, give him a round of applause for his second best book. What I did not realize was my mic was not hooked up at the beginning. So when I was hitting these buttons the first time, thinking that y'all was
they won't make no noise.
Because I'm sitting up here cheesing, thinking that I'm impressing him how far we came. Nothing was playing. So I realized when y'all was talking and it was muted that y'all heard me. But Kev, you want to sign us out before we go?
What up, y'all? It's your boy Kev on Stage. I'm here with the guys, the 8 More Than 92 podcast. Thank y'all for having me. Check us out on this episode and check out the next episode. Like, share, subscribe. We out of here.
Peace.
Yo. Welcome back to another episode of the 8 More Than 92 podcast, where we always keep it 100. You heard none of them sound effects, did you?
Nah. Told y'all niggas I was gonna keep it street.
Oh, then how you coming, Glock?
Pause.
Okay.
It's the 8 More Than 92 podcast. You know how we do. We always keep it 100.
Welcome back.
Who?
Yeah.